Let's go.
Welcome to the Soul Fam podcast, where we expand your personal universe. I'm Diana Marquetta, and in each episode, Soul Fam co-founder, co-creator Lexi Strummer-Solden and I interview the world's most rising and longtime experts in consciousness, spirituality, entertainment, healing, and science. From Earth's dimensions and dimensions way, way beyond. On the Soul Fam podcast, our frequencies are high and your heart chakras will open as these powerful voices of today share cutting-edge research, profound experiences, and valuable knowledge for your world in this out-of-this-world, thought-provoking, envelope-pushing interviews that could only take place right here on the Soul Fam podcast. Welcome to the Soul Fam podcast. I'm Diana Marquetta. I'm the host of the Soul Fam podcast. Please remember to like and subscribe at the end of this or right now. And I'm bringing the Soul Doctor to you today. Diana Esther, who's the author of The Diamond Within. Diana has traversed multiple challenges in her life and has a strong message to share with us as a community, as a collective, as beings on this planet about our mission, our purpose, our individual soul connection with ourselves. She also, by the way, just celebrated 45 years of marriage. I think she got married at age 2. So she has traversed well on this planet and has much to share with us. So welcome, Diana Esther, the Soul Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you. We were having a couple of moments right before this started, and you were sharing the importance of identifying yourself as Soul Doctor because it's important for us to remember who we are as souls.
100%. I always felt that feeling of disconnections from our soul is the reason of all the challenges and problems in our life, including our health and our relationships. Because as the children, we have never learned who we truly are. And we're just learning through life, through our education system and our environment, how to deal with challenges, how to understand why things happening, what is the reason, and how to deal with them. We actually having issues, not because they are not good enough or they are not strong enough, because they are simply not aware. And I believe awareness, it's number one. When you're not aware, there is no way you can change anything. There is no way you can empower yourself because you can only use what's available in your conscious understanding. So awareness, it's something that it's very, very important, something that enhances the field of your inner intelligence. By connecting to your soul, which is a reason why we all here anyway. It's not just living life from day to day, eating, going out, meeting people, creating relationships. Our soul came here to evolve. We are not human beings on the spiritual journey. On contrary, they are spirits on the human journey. When you look at it from this point of view, you understand that life, it's no longer meaningless. We give meaning to life as we go.
I love that you've flipped that, which we often hear, that we're beings having a spiritual experience, but we are spirits having the human experience right now. So were you born with this, Diana? I know there's a lot of things I want to talk about. Lymphatic cancer, the things that you've overcome, where you grew up. But were you always aware of this presence within yourself?
No, I was born completely in an environment where I was disconnected emotionally. I was born in the former Soviet Union, in the middle class Jewish family. I had no siblings. I had no toys. I had no pets. I had no emotional connection to my parents because at the time of the former Soviet Union, parents had to work. They virtually worked. So the moment when I woke up in the morning, they were already not there. And when I was going to bed, they didn't come back yet. So I hardly saw them. And I was brought up by my grandparents. That's how the communities used to live together. But main goal of the grandparents is to provide you with food and with clean clothing. So since early childhood, I felt something within me that needed to be expressed. But because of my environment, I was not allowed to express the way my soul wanted to express itself. I was not allowed to learn ballet. I was not allowed to learn acting. I was not allowed to do anything that I badly felt I need to express because it was not just appropriate. It was not a way of acceptance and way of living. So at the very early age, I became ill. And one night I was taken into the hospital with excruciating stomach aches. And doctors thought that I might have acute appendicitis and wanted to operate on me urgently, but thanks God they didn't. And it took several days to establish that as a child, I had chronic liver and gallbladder disease, which was not heard of, not as a little child. So it was one night in the hospital where the pains were so excruciating. And at the time in Soviet Union, we had no painkillers readily available. So I felt I was dying.
Yes.
I could not bear the pain any longer.
Of course.
And it was a moment where I felt that my body was completely getting ice cold. And I was ready to give up.
Yes.
But in that very moment, I've heard the voice from within. I never heard that voice before. I never felt anything like it. But the moment I've heard that voice, the heat came from within and just brought me back to life, saying to me, hold on, everything will work out. Just hang on there. Just be there. You're not going to die. I never, ever talked to anybody in my environment, to my parents, to my relatives about it. It was nobody there that I could open my heart to. But I've learned to trust that inner voice with all my heart. And it was proven many times over. If anything happens in my life that was very challenging, I would simply go within and just ask for help. And it would be provided for me. It would guide me what to do and where to go. Or it will let me say, just wait and hang on there. And if I ever did not listen to that, something negative will happen. But if I would continue to follow this inner trust, always something will work out. And many times over, it helped me to live in Soviet Union at the time when nobody could. And it just proven me each and every time that this inner connection that luckily happened to me at the very young age created me the way I am up until now.
Do you feel there was a particular presence that was there? Do you feel it was God? Do you feel it was angels? Do you feel it was something within you that you became aware of suddenly?
At the time of the Soviet Union, I'm not sure if you're aware, but all the religion and spirituality were forbidden.
Right.
So I grew up in the communist environment based on the Communist Manifesto. There is no God. This is all fairy tale. You don't have a soul. Soul does not exist. So you are part of the collective environment, and you are not supposed to be living kind of your own life. Everything you do for the collective. So there is no individuality and there is no uniqueness. You learn to live your life and to be the best of you can in service to others. So nobody talks about human as a soul and human. Everything was taught you're simply your bones, your flesh, you're human, but nobody talks about your soul.
Right.
And there is no information of any sort. So since I was small, because I had this urge to understand who I truly am, when I began to read, I started to read all the books I could get my hands on, which were mainly science fictions.
Oh,
It was
interesting.
no other kind of books available. So I felt when I was reading about stars and different planets
Mm-hmm.
and fictions, I felt that these fictions was my reality, something I could easily understand and relate to.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the only information available to me at that time. And I had no knowledge about God, angels, never heard of it. It would never cross my mind, but it was something within me that grew over the years and become my friend. It's when you turn to your inner core as to your best friend, someone you can ask for guidance.
I can't imagine the kind of isolation that you felt at the time as a child, and it sounds very cold.
It was very cold.
So, as your life went on, did you leave the Soviet Union at some point?
Yes. It's happened to be that during my childhood, everything seems to be normal until the Six-Day War that started in Israel 1967, which brought, unfortunately, huge changes for the Jewish population of the Soviet Union. The Jewish kids were not allowed to study at the university. You're not allowed to get higher education. My parents and most of the other children's parents had to resign from the high position and just to do something else and not to be in the position where you have lots of people under your command. Because I went through a lot of physical issues and pains, I wanted to become a doctor. So unfortunately, I couldn't study to become a doctor because I was Jewish. And I felt that my world, it's crushed in millions of pieces. I had no future. I had no understanding how to move forward or what to do. If it's not for my inner connection that guided me to a group of young kids who had connection to Israel and applied to get some invitations to move from Russia to Israel, if ever it will become possible. So it happened to be that I got that invitation before everything started. I don't know how, but I think it was by the loving hand of God. Because every letter at the time that was received from abroad was always censored. It usually comes to you open. So somebody read these letters and not every letter reaching you. So a lot of letters would simply disappear. So when I received this letter and I approached my parents because I was underage, I was not allowed to make decisions for myself. It happened to be a moment when big talks between Brezhnev and Nixon came to the point finally to let some amount of Jewish people out. And again, by the grace of God, 400 applications were randomly chosen. And since when it was possible to apply, we did apply. I forgot to tell you that.
Yes, of course.
And we waited for 4 years.
Wow.
For 4 years without knowing if they ever let us out or not. And it was one night when these 400 people were randomly chosen, and we were one of them. We had 48 hours to leave the country with three suitcases and $250 of equivalent currency, becoming Russian Jewish refugees without passports, without identity, without knowing what's going to happen.
Right.
And the journey was very challenging and very difficult until we came to Austria, which took several days and a lot of challenges. And it was during the winter time.
Oh, no. How did you get there? Were you with your parents?
I was with my parents, and we went by train from Ukraine, where I was born, into Austria. But it was the most difficult journey you can imagine. It was not just a smooth train ride. The train would stop at midnight, several hours after we left Odessa, where I was born. And people was told to get out of the train in the middle of nowhere, ice cold night, to walk. Obviously, we had no mobile phone and no compasses, and you don't know where you're going. And in Russia those days, there is no lights. You just been thrown into the wilderness, and at night without any lights, to walk some way to find a next train
The next
station
train.
in order just to create a little bit more confusion and do not make it your way to leave Soviet Union as enjoyable as possible.
Right. Let's make it more difficult for all of you.
Exactly.
Wow. What a journey. My goodness. Thank goodness you did take that journey and follow through. I'm sure you wanted to give up at many points. I'm sure your parents did too, for that matter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They went through a lot of humiliation themselves just because of me, because my dad was a military man, high-ranking officer in the Navy since he was 14 years old. So my decision was kind of personal, but become family decision without them even thinking about it, because I felt it was no future for all of us.
I'm sure that's absolutely true. I'm sure that's absolutely true. And I'm deeply sorry that you and your family had to go through that. However, I am grateful that you made it to the other side, and you've obviously evolved, and you have so much to share with all of us. So what happened next? And I know that you've battled some health issues as well, and your soul and your connection with your soul has been a big part of you overcoming those as well.
Look, my life has been constantly challenging in many ways, in different ways. But I learned one thing: never look at the challenge as a curse or something bad happening to you. I always saw that challenge come in order to change something in my way of thinking, in my way of living, in order to awaken something within me to understand that this way it's no longer serve my purpose. I never looked at health challenges, relationship challenges in a way that, oh my God, why it's happening to me? You know, I'm a good girl. I've done everything well. Why is it happening to me? I never looked that way. And later on, when I studied spirituality and philosophies, I understood that it was something that was born within me, together with me. And I always felt, not because I've learned from books or from talks or from webinars, it was all this trust and this kind of understanding and this kind of consciousness always had a seed within me that needed to grow. because there is no end to it. It's like a diamond within that I'm talking about. They are a piece of beautiful, rough jewel that was put by the Creator within each and every heart of the human person. But it takes time, not only for the diamond to grow, but it takes a polishing process in order for the diamond to sparkle. So every challenge, it's like polishing another facet of your diamond within, making you more brilliant, more valuable, and more sparkly.
That's beautiful, and a great reminder to all of us that there is perhaps a plan, or there's time. I think especially in our community, in a way we talk about, or I think there's a sense that things should and will happen instantly, but there's a purpose behind this sort of molding or sharpening, as you have shared. Did you go to London then after Austria, or did you spend time there with your family? Kind of what moved forward after all of this, after this, remarkable journey?
What's happened when we arrived to Austria? Obviously, we went through a registration process in order to go to Israel. But within next 2 days of applying, another war happened. It's called Yom Kippur War, which happened 50 years ago, and prevented us from going to Israel. So instead, we went to Italy with the help of American organization, applying for any country to take us. So we end up going to Australia 9 months later. So at the time, I spoke very little English. We had nobody in Australia those days who spoke Russian. So it was like trying to explain yourself using hands and your intuition and anything else but the language. So the journey was difficult. Again, nothing was easy in my life. If I look back at my life, every day it's like another challenge. But in every challenge I went through, it was so much blessings. When we arrived to Sydney, my dad, who was never ever ill in his life, became very ill, and he started to lose weight, and within 7 days he lost something like 12 kilos. So he was virtually disappearing. And I didn't know what to do. I couldn't even explain myself well. And the doctor that came to see him prescribed something like paracetamol without even understanding if there is something deeper and more important than that.
Right. More critical.
I was exactly something more critical. So my mother and I just went for a walk to have some breakfast, left him at the hotel. And I had no knowledge of God, of angels. I didn't know how to phrase it, but I began to speak from within into within myself, asking for guidance, asking for help, praying without understanding how to pray. And all of a sudden, I've heard the voice. Somebody spoke Russian, not far from where I was. And I saw 2 women getting into the Japanese car, and they spoke between them Russian. It was like a miracle. So I went to them, I explained everything that happened, and they helped us by introducing to a doctor that helped my father to be hospitalized immediately. By sending every night. He spent about 40 days in the hospitals, and every night somebody will come from their community to pick us up, to bring to hospital, and then back to their home to feed us and to make us feel family. And it went on for 40 days.
Wow.
And I cannot tell you, every challenge I ever went through became a pure miracle. Something that gave me even stronger trust to trust this voice within me.
What did your parents, did they understand that you had this knowledge? Were they aware of it? Did you share any of this with anyone in the community?
No, I could not share this with my parents because my parents was not connected to spirituality. They would say coincidence. They would say, good luck.
Right.
No, I never discussed these kind of things with my parents, and my parents were not emotionally open.
Right.
Because
Of
living in the
course.
Soviet Union, you have to be, that's how we all brought up. You have to be strong, regardless what. You don't ask for help, and that's a big one. You're not supposed to ask for help. You're supposed to do everything yourself. And if you don't achieve, bad luck. It's your fault. So you never learn to ask for help. And for me, this was the big one, because if I would not ask internally, if we don't ask, we never get answers.
Right.
We never get help. If we think we're capable of everything ourselves, we are closed. We are closed for any kind of guidance. If we don't allow for any other thought or any other wisdom to guide us, regardless where it's come from, and we are quite sure that we know everything. If your vessel is full, everything is gonna overflow.
How did you fill your vessel?
I fill my vessel, first of all, by inner trust. The moment you trust that there is something greater than your awareness and your understanding, and you relax into it and you tap into the energy which exists within each and every one of us, by allowing to connect to that energy, it's like it's like plugging into the source.
Right.
If you feel that you are disconnected and you don't trust anything, and you kind of curious, but you question everything out of because heart is especially your sacred heart, is the center of your inner emotional intelligence. And if you don't trust your heart, which most of the people don't, people rely on their thoughts and their logic and logical explanation. That's how we all learn. We learn about logic. We don't learn about feelings. We don't know how to feel through life. And I was amazed that there are many people that especially don't know how to feel. It's unbelievable, but that's what it is. They simply don't understand how to feel. They don't know what emotions are. They usually think that emotions are not important. And if you use your logic and you use your strategies and you use
Right.
your thinking, that's good enough. That's how you achieve success in your life.
Right. And it might be how you achieve a certain kind of success. But I'm curious, how do you define success?
I define success. Success is something that it's your connection to your purpose. Because when you live the life you are truly born to live, and you live life that brings you happiness, joy, and fulfillment, for me, this is the highest level of success. When you wake up in the morning and you're happy to be alive, and you know that each and every day will bring something new, something powerful, some new experiences, not always positive, but new experiences where you can shine your light in a different way and polish your diamond within even more for a greater health, for a greater health, for a greater emotional connection, for a better relationship, just improving anything and everything. To me, this is the highest level of success, because it's not something that it's based on momentum, something that it's always available every time in your life and on every level. It's something that it's not you achieve and tomorrow you forgot about it and you feel the same again, because nothing that is external, unfortunately, lasts. Nothing lasts externally, not for too long. You buy a beautiful dress, you excite it, you wear it several times, and then you put it in your wardrobe and you forgot about it. You read the book, something interesting, you're curious. With the time, you even forgot what you read about. But when you connect to the source of fulfillment within you, it's endless and it's permanent. It never goes away because it's always within you. It's with you.
So, how did you come to share this knowledge with multiple individuals and groups and audiences? I know you speak around the world, you're an author, and I know that your health changed dramatically when your daughter was young. How did you learn to share at a time that sharing was not really encouraged or even considered a part of reality? You know, we focus a lot on feelings now, at least in this community, but feeling is still new in some cultures and
Yes,
in
of
some of
course.
society, sharing those feelings. How did you come to understand that and then to share it yourself?
First of all, with my illness, it happened when my awareness was not as advanced as it is today.
Mm-hmm.
I always had some kind of awareness, but as everything in life, it's like a seed of awareness that grows with you through your challenges in life, becoming a stepping stone for something bigger and better than you. So, as everybody else, I went through life, and stress, it's a killer of everything.
Yeah, I
Stress
agree.
is a big thing. We have this tendency of creating stress, not that somebody else creates for us, the stress created from within. We're doing robotically without even understanding that we're creating. But when the level of stress becomes unbearable for the body and your body can't take it anymore, it obviously manifests as an illness of any sort. And my lymphatic cancer came as a big surprise to me because, first of all, when it happened, I had no clue about it. And not only me, doctors had no clue about it. For 2 years, I was
Wow.
not diagnosed. For
No.
2 years.
Ah,
It started with,
so dangerous.
I was interestingly lucky enough that the kind of lymphatic cancer I had was a very rare kind that would manifest on your skin. Those days, it was only few doctors available who ever dealt with that kind of cancer. It started like a little thickening, like a penny-like thickening on my left wrist. And it just would bring it to my attention. It was not painful. It wasn't itching. It looked like a thick mosquito bite, but it just wouldn't go away.
Right.
So my daughter was 3 years old at the time, and I was about to go to Calabria, south of Italy, for the vacation. And something made me to go to the skin specialist just to ask, what is it, just in case. So I went to see him. He looked at it. He didn't give me any answer. He opened a big encyclopedia. It was back in Germany because at the time I lived in Germany. I've traveled and lived in many countries. So I went to see him. He opened this big encyclopedia and he mentioned something in Latin. And I asked him, can you please translate to me so I can understand the meaning of it? He said, nobody knows where it's come from and nobody knows how to cure. I have no clue what it is. But here it is, a cortisone cream, just in case, if you are
Exactly.
on this cortisone cream, if you are on the sun, just see what will happen. Obviously, when I came back 2 weeks later, this cortisone cream did nothing. So he took the biopsy and sent it to the lab, which would come back. The lab result came back as inconclusive with lots of questions. If I have pets, if I have fish, if I have allergies, everything, but nothing specific.
Mm-hmm.
To make the whole story shorter, I went from one doctor to another within 2 years, and all the answers were exactly the same. But this little spot didn't like to be irritated.
Of course.
And one biopsy after another, this unfortunately growing started to go from wrist to my elbow, and everything looked awful and really ugly and very thick. And it was not even one thought
So
what this actually can be. So I started to develop cough. I was coughing 24/7 for more than a year, and nothing would take the cough away. I would not be able to speak one word without coughing afterwards. So I tried every remedy under the sun, nothing helped. And one of my cousins suggested to me, at the last resort, because I refused to go to medical practitioners, I just decide to forget about medical science. If they don't know and I don't know, let it be.
Right.
So I went to this last doctor, which was very frustrating. And he did exactly the same as everybody else, asking me millions of questions about allergies and couldn't find anything. But he asked me what it is on your left arm. And I said, look, I don't want to talk about it. Nobody knows. I don't think you can help me with it. He said, 9 years ago, I worked in Germany with one of the skin specialists who is from Austria and who is very well known as the best diagnostician. Why don't you go and see him? And I went to see this guy. And that day changed everything in my life. He was 85 years old, working as a clinical doctor, never had his own practice, practiced every day of his life. And he was sitting, as I walked in, on the other side of the room, surrounded by maybe 10, 15 young doctors studying from him. And the moment I took my jacket out and I had a T-shirt, he looked at me from a distance and asked, where have you been for the last 2 years? I said, what do you mean? He said, call your family. You have a lymphatic cancer. He didn't even examine me.
Wow.
He said, you have a lymphatic cancer. You're not leaving this hospital. You're staying here for the further diagnosis. And I was frozen. I couldn't even make one step forward. Like somebody hit me on the head. Because this never, ever crossed my mind within 2 years. Never, ever. Not even one thought. And that night in the hospital was like a dark night of my soul. I cried myself out. I cried myself out. And it was something from within me that started to speak to my cancer. And I said to my illness, I don't know who you are, where you come from, and why, but I'm much stronger than you. And there is no way you can break me.
Wow.
So I was crying a river. And
I'm sure.
while I was doing that, it's something from within me, like immersed with such a strong message. And I felt such strength that the next day when I went through all the tests, my inner organs wasn't harmed, but everything was on the skin. And obviously, I went to begin with through the radiotherapy because I had no clue of anything.
Right.
And I've been told that I had to be under the doctor's supervision, who is a blood doctor, hematologist, virtually weekly. And I'm not allowed to have a second child. And if I will have a second child, something dramatic could happen, even if everything seems to be okay after a while, after radiotherapy. And being who I am, obviously, I did not listen. And when I got pregnant, I did not terminate my pregnancy. I had my second child.
Of course.
And 2 months later, whatever they told me came back.
Huh.
And it came back already on the other side of my body, which radiotherapy could not treat.
Right.
And I've been offered chemo.
Mhm.
And chemotherapy those days was nothing like chemo. Chemo is not something positive for your body,
No.
but it was much more harmful those days. It
Mhm.
was not as developed. It was beginning stages. I'm talking of beginning of 90s. It was just beginning stages. And when my body heard chemo, it's like something within rebelled.
Good.
So I didn't know what to do,
Mhm.
who to speak to, where to go. I had no one again to ask for guidance, but my inner self. I started to think, let me try alternative therapies. I know nothing about, but I will try to see as many as I can to see if they can be helpful. And unfortunately, I went through maybe 20 odd specialists, which would give me exactly the same answer, saying that they would love to help me, but they cannot give me any reassurances. And they don't know so much about this specific condition. But if I decide to go alternative, I should never taste chemo or anything else.
Mhm.
It should be only one-sided. It's either or. It's my choice.
Hmm.
So I was left again at the crossroads without knowing which way to go.
Right.
And I was torn apart because my family was scared for me. I had a
Of
young
course.
child. There was a lot of responsibilities. And I had to take responsibility for my life and for my health.
Mhm.
So it was one person left in my list who was in charge of the Homeopathic Association of Germany.
Oh.
So I went from Berlin to Frankfurt to see this woman and put all my trust into this appointment. And when I came, everything was the same.
Hmm.
The same answers, the same behaviors, and I burst into tears. And I said to
Hmm.
her, look, you're the last person on my list. I've got no one to talk to. And I know that you know the answer for me.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to leave your office until you do. And she looked at me. We looked at each other maybe for a minute, but it felt like a lifetime. And she said to me, why don't you try macrobiotics? I said,
Oh.
what is it? I never heard of it. What is macrobiotics? She said, it's a way to heal your body using food as energy, using food as medicine. And the moment she said, every cell within me, like clapping,
Huh.
I like felt happiness and joy from within me. I said, oh my God, that sounds right. So I asked, how can I find somebody to help me?
Uh-huh.
She said, don't worry, go back to Berlin, somebody will call you. And that's how it started.
Wow.
I had guy, his name was Hans Schmidt, I remember as now, from Switzerland, who called me and invited me for a consultation.
Uh-huh.
And the consultation took place in a tiny macrobiotic association in Berlin. And I was interviewed by 3 people who overcome their cancer challenges at the very young age. One of them was a guy from Scotland who at the age of 10 was given back to his parents, because he had leukemia of the last stage and the pancreatic cancer. And the pancreas was taken away, and he'd been through all the treatments. And medical doctors, unfortunately, couldn't do anything anymore.
Mhm.
When I met him, he was 39 years old,
Oh, wow.
in full health.
Yes.
So, and it was women from Italy. So it was 3 of them
Hmm.
asking me questions for about almost 4 hours. Questions like nobody ever asked me.
Hmm.
And I felt that I can put my trust into hands of these people that I just saw, because I had no one else to turn to.
Mhm.
So I've been given special recommendation, dietary recommendation, and life recommendation, how to live my life daily.
Hmm.
And I had 3 weeks before my chemotherapy treatment that was booked for me originally.
Right.
So after 2 weeks, I had 40% success rate.
Wow. No way.
Honestly, just only after 2 weeks. So I become so excited. I went to see my doctor and I had wings. I just wanted him to see what I did and to show him results. He looked at me and he said, don't believe in it and don't trust it.
What?
Yes, it's
No
all,
way.
he said to me, it's witchcraft. It's not,
What?
yes, it's not, it's gonna come back. Believe me, I have more experience than you do. Whatever you tried, maybe it's helpful now, but it's definitely gonna come back. So I was so discouraged, like
Yeah.
somebody just cut my wings off.
Mm-hmm.
And the only question I asked him, I said, just tell me, the way it looks right now, do I still have a little time to think about it and to experiment before I make up my mind for chemotherapy?
Mm-hmm.
He said, the way it looks right now, yes, you do have a little time. I said, in that case, thank you very much for everything, but you will never see me again. And
That's fantastic.
I left. So I went to see those guys and I asked them, now tell me where I can go and study. And they found for me those days a little school in Holland in the
Mm-hmm.
wilderness. And I was living there for 4 months. I left my baby and I
Mm-hmm.
left my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband brought me into this forest school where I lived, heal, and study.
Thank God. How fantastic and how brave of you as a young mother. I'm sure that was heart wrenching to leave your
Very,
children. But at the same time, you really didn't have a choice. You had to follow through on this, or you might not have been there.
exactly, exactly. It was my responsibility for my life and their
Mm-hmm.
life to be, because more than anything in the world, I wanted to be there present at their weddings and
Mm-hmm.
to see them grow and to be part of their life.
Mm-hmm.
I
Of
didn't know
course.
that I had no 100% assurances of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's important to understand in life. Life is
Mm-hmm.
not going to give you any kind of assurances
Mm-hmm.
that it's 100% like this way is the perfect way for you. But if you rely on this connection within you, everything that meant to happen, everything that you're
Mm-hmm.
destined for will happen in the most magical way. I just trusted. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want to share with your audience. There is nothing more important than inner trust. And look at life, how many people simply don't trust themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We trust professionals. We
Mm-hmm.
trust people
Right.
who finished university, who have high degrees. But think about one thing. Who knows you better than
Mm-hmm.
your own self?
Mm-hmm.
Who can feel the pain you have but yourself? Who can feel what's better for you than anybody else? But if you don't trust yourself and you're completely disconnected, yes, you become part of the flock. You become
Mm-hmm.
like everybody else. You go through everything that everybody else does. But we all individual and we all unique and we all have something within us that make us special, that make us
Mm-hmm.
brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
If only we can listen to it, if only we can learn how to listen to it.
How do you teach people to listen to themselves and to reconnect with their inner self?
First of all, I have an online program that I created
Mm-hmm.
to help people to connect to the diamond within and to
Mm-hmm.
understand from the very, very beginning in a very simple and loving way how to understand this inner intelligence and how to connect to it in your own way, because we're all unique. And it's something that I went through myself. I wrote this program and my books during the most challenging time in Australia during the COVID 5 years ago, because I went there to help my parents who lived in Sydney ever since. I left and traveled the world, but my parents never left Australia and they loved it. And they've been always grateful to this country. And if God would not put me there 3 weeks before COVID, I would never be able to go and help them because, as you know, lockdown was all over the world, and in UK it was very, very special. So it happened to be that I went 3 weeks before COVID, and when COVID happened, Australia was under lockdown for 2 years. So I was separated from my family in the UK for 2 years.
Oh my gosh. Crazy. But that gave you space to
100%.
create this program. So what is the key thing that you teach others about connecting with their soul? And I know that the other point that I feel is probably strong in your message is to understand the power of our DNA as love. Am I getting that sort of right, or do I have it the wrong way?
Love is not a feeling. I just wanted to explain that there is misconception and misunderstanding what love is. Love is not a feeling. Love is the state of being. If God is love, energy of love, and God created us to his image, we are love. We are made of these atoms, of these particles, of these energies that it's within us. And love is not just, it's not a feeling, it's not an emotion. Love is energy that we have within us. There are the two most powerful emotions is love and fear. And they always exist side by side. And it's very easy for us to fall into the trap of fear very easily because we live mainly from our mind and not from our heart. That's how we learn at school, at university, from our parents, not because they wanted to teach us something wrong. That's all they know.
Right.
The whole planet, since thousands of years, living from the mind. We learn how to live from the mind, but mind, it's like a computer. Mind cannot feel, mind can think. And mind, it's created in order to keep us safe and to be aware. Our mind is brilliant, don't take me wrong, but mind can only fulfill its duties if it serves the heart.
Right.
If mind and heart are connected, you are living the life of your dreams. You don't have the war within, because war within created your doubts, your limitations is created by the mind. It's not your heart. It's a loud judgmental voice within you that telling you you're not good enough, you're not young enough, you're not successful enough, you're not lovable, you're too fat, you're too thin. That's not your heart who is trying through this loud noise to tell you how brilliant you are and how unique you are, and to inspire you and to connect you to your best destiny. So we have this war within that turns us apart, brings a lot of inner stress, creates and builds up inner stress and making us ill. So I teach people how to drop from thinking into feeling.
Mm.
And the moment you do, you create not from what you think you may be or you might be. You're creating from your field of infinite creation, field of love.
Is there a single tip or a method or a way that we can instantly connect the mind and the heart in order to access that? Or do you feel like it takes a process of time and a repetition of steps?
I believe everything begins with awareness, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, our belief system not always allowed us to explore our inner capabilities. If we don't believe in something, it's not going to happen. If somebody is going to give you a magic pill and say, have it, take this pill, you're going to be forever young, beautiful, successful. You will never get ill. And if you don't believe in it, it will do nothing to you.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has to do with our belief system and with inner blockages that has been created this lifetime and maybe other lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
Something we maybe remember or maybe not aware of it at all. It's like having filters that are not transparent, that are blocked. So we have a tendency to believe in something if we can see it, if we can touch it, and then we believe it. But on the other side, if you want to connect to something, you cannot touch feelings, you cannot touch thoughts, you cannot touch your emotions. There is no way you can touch. You can only trust it, and you can only begin with trusting something before something happens that you can feel it with your hands and see it with your eyes. Believe it, and then you will see it. The other way.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the biggest problem, because everything in life is simple until we make it complicated.
Right.
We are the only
That's true.
one that makes our life complex. So my suggestion and my tip is, if you want to change something in your life, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your health, whether it's your financial state, just allow yourself to feel the truth from within. Just allow. It's very simple. It's not something that you need to spend money on. But the moment you say to yourself, I allow to get down to the truth, I allow the truth to come from within me, I allow to feel the pain, the trauma that caused this process, because nothing is for nothing. Everything has cause and effect. And if people look on the outside and feel this person or this situation or this government system is the cause of my suffering, they can't win the game. The only way to win the game by accepting the responsibilities for everything in your life and allowing yourself to feel.
I have to say, I love that. I love that. It's very simple, and allow yourself to feel the truth within you that already exists. So is there resistance on our parts? I really get this, and that really resonates with me personally. I hope it really resonates with our audience. However, do we find excuses not to believe?
Yes, we do find excuses not to believe, because everything that is exceptionally valuable usually concealed. When you look at the diamond,
Right.
at the rough diamond, it looks like a little pebble. It has different coatings and different colors. And maybe you will pass by, you wouldn't even take a notice of it until you scratch the surface and look within and evaluate all the potentials. The same thing with us. If we don't allow ourselves to prove what's within us by trusting it, there is no way we will be able to see any changes. It's all about allowing. It's all about saying to yourself, you know what? Let me try the other way. I've tried this way. It didn't bring me happiness and joy and fulfillment. Maybe there is another way. The moment you ask, your field of possibilities becomes more accessible. The moment you say, I don't believe in it, you're going to stay in your frame of mind. You're going to see, it's like living in I always say this, it's like living in a high-rise building. If you are on the ground floor, when you look in front of you, that's all what you will see. But when you move on the 10th floor, the vision becomes broader. You can see more and more things become available, not because they didn't exist. You simply didn't see them because you blocked yourself in disbelieving.
Wow, these are powerful things. Very powerful. So how do you share your message? I mean, I know you speak, I know you teach online, I know there's a lot available. How do you share your message? What do you feel where do you feel most powerful?
First of all, I think people should, when somebody becomes curious, not in the logical way, like, I'm just curious. Let's see what's available. And this curiosity didn't come from the desire to change. The change is not going to come. The moment you say to yourself, I've tried this way and I've tried that way. I'm not just looking for something, for easy way out or for quick fix, because life is not a quick fix. It's a journey, and it's not a destination. It's ongoing journey of evolvement and transformation from within. But it's worth it, every bit of it, because it pays you back big time. And if somebody is just shopping around for an extra intellectual knowledge, he can find this knowledge everywhere, through books, through webinars. And I always ask one question: whatever you learn, have it transformed and changed your life? And if it didn't, this knowledge is useless. And I believe in connection. The most powerful word out of all the words that I use, it's connection. If one piece of wisdom, one sentence, one word touched your heart and create change in your consciousness and understanding of your life and yourself, this teaching is priceless. If nothing touches your heart and make you feel different, but simply nourishes your intellectual curiosity, nothing is going to happen. That's how it is. Because you cannot feel with your mind. You can only think and go in circles and trying to prove yourself right or wrong, whichever way you want. But only when you drop in your heart and you truly feel you want to know something, you want to master and become the master of your life, you will, because your heart will lead the way. And I believe when student is ready, the teacher appears.
Right.
It's not me saying, it's universal wisdom.
Right. All right. So, I mean, there are just pieces of gold in this interview, and I am so grateful to you for really sharing these. It's very powerful, and there's no doubt that you and I are here today for a very specific purpose. That we are certainly at a crossroads in our world. I mean, do you feel that way?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree with you. Nothing that is happening right now has happened previously, but it brought us to the point of showing different direction with everything. Because everything that we tried previously, unfortunately, didn't work. Look at the chaos, what's happening today.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I'm a great believer that everything begins with an individual. People always want to change the world, but you can't change the world if you don't change yourself. We are the part of the ocean, and we are the drop that has all the ocean within us. And this wisdom is ancient, and Rumi, that I adore a lot, and philosopher and poet, always said that we are not a drop in the ocean. We are ocean in the drop.
Mm.
Everything that life is, it's already within us. And we are a very important part of the unified field. Everything we think, everything we say, everything we act with impact not only us, impact the whole world. And people think that what can one person do? One person can do a lot. Without this person, the field of life never the same. Never the same. It's like the old diamonds on the crown jewel of life. And if one diamond is missing in this crown jewel, the whole crown jewel is not sparkling the same.
Okay. That's incredible and so perfect for really it's really perfect. It's just, that's all it is. And amazing for us to hear at this time. I know you have other celebrations to go to this weekend, so I want to close with that. How can people get in touch with you? Where are you going to be speaking next? How do we find your book, which I've read a portion of and is well worth the time and interest, and it's very beautifully written? Can you share all of the good stuff about how we can connect with your vibration and your beautiful energy?
First of all, I have a website that's called thediamondwithin.co.uk. Then I have my books on my website. My first book called The Diamond Within, From Rough to Polished to Flawless. And second one, they just came up recently, called The Poetry of the Soul. I also write spiritual poetry that inspires and picks you up and raise your vibration from within. I also offer 1 hour of free chat and free discovery session to see if if we are a perfect fit for each other, to help people. My social media is all on my website, which is thediamondwithin.co.uk. And I just want to say that I encourage people just to explore a different way of living and just to give themselves a chance to see if there is another way of making their life more fulfilling and more successful.
Wow, fantastic. So beautiful. And I feel so powerful about your message. I know you do too, actually. And we're really blessed that we were able to listen and hear your journey today. There's no doubt. It's just the timing of it, the things that are going on the planet at this time, and God bless us all at this time. So I greatly appreciate all of the message that you shared today and for sharing your personal journey as well. It's very powerful.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you. I'm honored and I'm so happy I could do it. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Soul Fam podcast. Be sure to tune in to every episode where we dive into a different rabbit hole of the known and unknown to empower you in conscious living and exploration of the greater universe. We hope you leave each episode with a little stardust in your hair and inspiration in your heart. With love from your Soul Fam.